looking for talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama, then we going out to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up, hey. Back and back it on up, hey. Back and back it on up, hey. Back and back it on up, hey.
TA, we live 1 day out from Mr. Zachary Lee's 25th birthday. Zach,
oh my gosh.
Tomorrow is your 25th birthday. Happy birthday to you. I mean, we're going to have a praise break or something?
No, I'm good. I'm good on the
No praise break for the birthday?
I'm going to move this camera up just a tad because our heads are getting cut off. So there we go.
So, today is a fantastic Friday, Zach. You know why?
Oh, I know why.
Because it's Friends Friday.
It is Friends Friday.
And we got your boy AD with us. Bring him in here, Bobby. Bring that boy in here.
He's in here.
What's up?
AD? Good to have you, our fantastic friend from Twitter Spaces.
Twitter Space Specialist.
Twitter Spaces.
There you go with that, but man.
Himself. Maybe we can give him a little bit bigger on there. He's kind of a little tiny square.
Well, I think we're going to cut us off, but we can try it.
That'd be all right. There we go.
That's all right.
There we go. AD, what's up with you, man?
Not much, man. Enjoying the day, enjoying life. Happy birthday, Zach. I forgot about that. You know, 25 years old.
One more day. An old man.
2-5.
Yeah. 2-5. The big
quarter of a century.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that does sound old.
That's too much time with Zach. That's too much time.
Awesome. Hey guys, we got a lot to talk about. We're glad to have AD here to discuss it with us. You know we got to start it off with the draft. We got to. Draft starting. You got to start with the draft, man. So Derek Stingley goes third to the Houston Texans. I'm just saying, if Sauce Gardner would have gone before him, I would have thrown a fit. I'm just saying, I would have thrown an absolute fit.
Man,
out there acting like Sauce Gardner is better than Derek Stingley. We'll throw hands. We will throw hands.
That's crazy to think.
Yes, he has incredible numbers, but he has incredible numbers against non-Power 5 schools. Put him up against SEC receivers, and we'll see how it goes. Let's see how good them numbers look after that. Okay?
Yeah, actually, I had this discussion with a guy who's a Texans fan, and he was asking us about him, and I was saying, you know, Sting went up against the best every week, so you getting a dude that's battle tested and battle ready. He gonna give you what he got, so it's on and popping. I'm loving it, but I mean, if you talk about Sting, you got to talk about Ed going in the second round, Cordell going in the third, and TDP just went about 2 or 3 picks ago to San Francisco in the third round, which I didn't see him going in the third, but I'm so happy he went. Like that's a perfect spot for him. So yeah, man, it's on and popping. It's been a great draft. It's been crazy. A whole lot of trades, a whole lot of unexpected scenarios. I mean, you think we didn't have a quarterback go in the second round at all. They just jumped to the third round. And then it was Ritter that was the after Pickett in the first round. Ritter was the next quarterback off the board. Then Willis and Corral just went to the Panthers too. So it's been a fun draft, man. It's been a fun draft.
Yeah, it really has been. And this has been one of the most intriguing drafts I've watched. I mean, typically it's like so top heavy.
Yeah.
And like, you know, the first few picks, like who they're going to be and whatnot. Like there's a lot of mystery coming into this. And then you see Trayvon Walker go number 1 overall. I mean, I don't know about you, AD, or Zach, and y'all can give y'all's opinions on this. Trayvon Walker, I mean, he's an excellent player, but number 1 pick in the draft? Like, really?
Well, I think it goes to show that the NFL teams right now, and especially in this draft, they are really, really leaning heavy on going after trench guys. I mean, offensive, defensive lines. I mean, they are. I mean, you saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, typically you see a lot of skill players, you see a lot of quarterbacks, but it has been a lot of trench players. And I think that just kind of is a testament to where the league is headed right now with these offenses.
Sure.
You know, they're trying to protect their quarterback with the spread offenses that are being run right now. And, you know, I mean, I understand it. I definitely understand it. So I think this draft is kind of an outlook into what is going to be more normal.
Yeah.
Not that you're not going to see, because whenever you have great quarterbacks in a draft, I mean, you're going to see those guys go, you know, in the first and second rounds. And, you know, we didn't have a great QB class this year, as we have had in the past.
No
and
doubt.
I think that's another reason why you saw more of the trench guys get picked, because if you already have your quarterbacks, you know, and you're not going to be picking up any of the quarterbacks that are coming in up in the draft, because this isn't a huge top heavy quarterback draft,
right?
You know, then that's why you're going to go and get guys that are going to protect the quarterbacks that you have right now.
Yeah.
So, anyways, just my take on it.
Yeah, and AD, what do you got on that? I mean, how did you feel about the top two picks there? I mean, if it's my opinion, I feel like if you look at the top three picks and you're like, all right, who was the best player out of all three of them and who should have gone first? In my opinion, it's Derek Stingley. And I'm not even trying to be biased. I think he was the most talented out of the three.
But I mean, you're not wrong. Like when you talk about the most talented guy in this draft, it's Sting. We all know that. That's not a debate.
Yeah.
The Trayvon Walker move, particularly him as the pick, is a bit surprising. Not that they didn't go, you know, defensive line or whatever. To me, I would have personally, just because of something I believe in, I would have went and got Evan Neal, but they also they re-signed Cam Robinson to an extension, so there wasn't that necessarily that. But I think it's a combination of not having the draft be the top teams in the draft being so needy at quarterback, and the draft not being top heavy with quarterbacks with players to select. So it was kind of like a combination, because I mean, you think about the first three teams, you got Trevor Lawrence, the number one pick last year. You got Jared Goff, who's still a young quarterback and you can build around. And then you got Davis Mills, who they said, I think at the end of last season, they were riding with in Texas. So 1, 2, and 3, boom. Even if they had top level quarterbacks, I don't think they drafted them this year. And then you combine that with the fact that a lot of people outside of Pickett, a lot of people said, like a lot of NFL insiders said, like, you know, slow down on the quarterback talk. You know, a lot of teams said slow down on that quarterback talk, because it's not quite where we are used to it being at. So it's a combination of not having a lot of great quarterback selections, and teams that's at the top having a guy that they already believe in, whether it's a guy like Goff who's who got some years under his belt, Trevor Lawrence, a former number one pick, or
Zach Wilson,
Davis Mills, Davis Mills, you know, being a guy that the Texans believe in. So it's kind of like a combination of the situation. So, but it made for the draft to be very, very intriguing, because, you know, personally, I like what the Saints did, but I think the Jets absolutely killed it, man.
They did.
I think them
and
the Ravens,
first round picks.
Yeah,
I mean,
them and the Ravens, killed it. And the Eagles. The Eagles did it big too. When you think about getting AJ Brown, being able to get Nakobe Dean in the third round, man, the Eagles killed it. The Ravens did what they always do, and they killed it. And I think the Jets, that's like the top three winners so far to me.
Yeah, I think Nakobe Dean so far is a steal of the draft, because honestly, I thought he was the best linebacker in the draft. I mean, for him to fall to the third round is unbelievable. I did not see that at all. I seriously thought we were going to see his name called on the first night, and you saw 5 Georgia defensive players called that on the first night, and not
still
one
didn't
of
beat
them,
LSU.
Yeah, not one of them was Nakobe Dean.
Still didn't beat LSU's record from
2 years ago. Yeah.
I mean,
2 years
the
ago.
fact that it was all defensive players was pretty impressive. But
that is
I also
impressive.
think
That is impressive.
I also think AD. I mean, Damone Clark, I think, is also a steal. I mean, he hasn't been taken off the board yet, and I understand it's the injuries, but I mean, Damone Clark's a guy that we've talked about Nakobe Dean, but Damone Clark had a better season than Nakobe Dean. Like
statistically, yes. Yeah. I mean, honestly.
he had a better season.
Yeah.
And he balled out. So I know, obviously the injury is a huge setback for him, but I think, wherever he goes, a team's getting a steal because, once he's back healthy and 100%,
we know
when he's playing like he can play and he's running around the field and able to go sideline to sideline, I mean, that's a huge steal for me as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just gonna say that I told someone like the top 2 linebackers in this draft are both falling because of injuries. You have the neck injury with Damone, and then they publicized it after he got picked or around when he was getting picked. There was word about soft tissue injuries and a torn labrum and a pec injury he didn't have surgery on for Nakobe Dean. So, but they falling because of injuries. But man, if I think Dean and Damone is going to make a lot of people. It's going to make one GM look like a genius and make a lot of people regret not picking them.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the Eagles drafting Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean. Jeez. And I mean, Fletcher Cox, I know he's getting old, but that's a stellar addition to the front 7 for the Eagles.
And now they got Jalen Hurts to rely on and AJ Brown.
Correct. And they have AJ Brown. I mean,
watch out.
Honestly, okay, this may not. I mean, this may be an unpopular opinion, and a lot of people may not agree with this. But I was shocked that the Titans gave up AJ Brown, and I think Treylon Burks is an incredible receiver. Don't get me wrong, but AJ Brown has proved himself in the NFL to be a really good receiver.
Yeah,
and I was shocked that they gave him up to go and get a receiver out of Arkansas. I just. And not that it was Arkansas, but I'm just saying, I mean, when you've a guy who's proved himself like A.J. Brown has and has had the first 2 seasons or 3 at the Titans like he has had, for you to give him up to go get another receiver was kind of shocking.
Well, I think,
get a rookie.
I think he probably wanted out of there, and I think that's, probably why you had to work that trade. But you get a guy. I'm really high on Treylon Burks. I think
he'll do great.
I think Treylon Burks is underrated in this draft, and I mean, if you look at his comparison is AJ Brown. So although he is not at the level of AJ Brown right now, measurables wise, you go and you get a guy that is similar. So I think there's more to it there than just getting rid of AJ Brown.
I mean, it's maybe true. I did see like a video clip when Mike Vrabel found out that he had been traded. That he was kind of like pacing around and got to get up from his seat. And I'm like, man, as a coach, that's kind of hard to swallow. But I mean, then again, Treylon Burks could be incredible, and I think he'll do just fine. That just kind of surprised me that when you have a solidified guy like that, to give that up to go get a rookie that hasn't quite proved himself, hasn't had the chance to prove himself yet, at least. AD, let me get your opinion.
I just wanted to say on
go ahead.
The Titans thing. I think when you combine the fact that they went and got Malik Willis,
that's true.
And that's true. Tannehill on the down end of his career, they might just be looking ahead for the reboot. So I think when you combine the Treylon Burks pick with the AJ Brown trade and then go and get Malik Willis, I think they just looking for the offense. They're looking forward to the offensive reboot, trying to like get a foot ahead on, get some steps ahead on that.
No doubt. So let me get your opinion. I know we got Saints fans in here. In my opinion, I don't understand the whole Drake London thing. I really don't. I don't get that. In my opinion, Chris Olave was the best receiver in this draft. I know people were putting Garrett Wilson above him. I know people were putting Drake London above him. Chris Olave, to me, was the best receiver in this draft. And here's why. Chris Olave reminds me a lot of Jamar Chase. Like his build, his style of play reminds me a lot of Jamar Chase. And I mean, if he plays like Jamar Chase, holy cow for the Saints. I mean, holy smokes. But people were putting Garrett Wilson before Chris Olave, and I thought he was the third best receiver in Ohio State. I thought it was Chris Olave, Smith and Jigba, then Garrett Wilson. So what was your opinion on the Chris Olave pick? To me, it was a stellar pick. Like, I think they hit it on the button.
There were 3 guys that if they left with, I would have been absolutely 100% happy with. Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Chris Olave.
Yeah.
You could even throw Burks in there. Drake London, I don't know what that was about, but that's that. Olave was one of the guys they could not afford not to get. And them getting Olave was the absolute, when you talk about getting a top level talent that meets a need, serious, desperate need, it's a win. I think they knocked it out the park with their 3 picks overall. Penning, getting an athletic big man with a lot of room to grow with a very high ceiling. And then you go and get Alontae Taylor, who is a versatile big defensive back who can play corner or safety and give you some versatility in your backfield to go along with a young defensive backfield core with May and CD and Marshawn and Adebo. So you got a lot of value in them 3 top 50 picks. So I love what they did. I love what they did with Olave, Penning, and Alontae Taylor, Johnson. What I forgot his last name already, but I love those three picks. So the Drake London thing, man, come on now, stop
AD,
it.
To follow up on that, how confident are you? Because I'm pretty confident now with you got Callaway, you got Thomas, you got all these dudes. Like how confident are you in this wide receiver room now that they've gotten Olave, and they've gotten Winston some help? How confident are you in this?
It look a lot better. It look a lot better than it did a week ago. Like the thing is, even with Michael Thomas coming back, Mike Thomas come back, he's fully healthy and everything. That number 2 slot is still iffy. Now if Olave come in there and he just does what he can do, that it's kind of like I know y'all will get this. It's like in baseball when your leadoff hitter is out the lineup, you throw your whole lineup out of whack. Not everybody is sitting in the right slot. And with Mike Thomas being back, but nobody else behind him, not everybody else is in the right spot. Callaway, I don't think, is a number 2. I don't think he fits that. He's a good number 3, good number 4, but he's not a good number 2. You get Olave in there and put him in there, and he comes in and he does his thing, then that sets everything right with the rest of the wide receiver room.
Yeah. I see Justin Broussard's comment here. I fully agree, Justin. I believe Jamar Chase is a top 5 receiver in the NFL, and I'm not saying that Chris Olave is Jamar Chase because I don't think he is yet. But his style of play, his kind of speed, his build reminds me of Jamar Chase.
Take it off the top.
Yeah, I don't think he can equate Jamar Chase quite yet, but I think he can be very similar and adds an incredible piece to the Saints offense, like AD was kind of describing to you there.
And I will give Olave this. I think he's like straight line, just pure speed. I think he's faster than Chase.
Yeah,
just
I
on
agree.
Pure speed.
I agree.
Yep.
Pure speed, I would take Olave. I think Chase is maybe a little bit cleaner route runner. I mean, Chase is his route running is pretty impressive. I mean, he can create space like nobody's business. So to wrap up this segment here on the draft, who are the winners and losers of this draft? If you say one winner, one loser, AD, who's your winner and loser? Zach, who's your winner and loser of this draft?
I mean, to me, like I said I don't think anybody touching the Jets. I mean, that first round alone, you got, the second best corner, one of the top 3 best receivers, probably one of the top 3 best edge rushers. Then in the second round, you get the best back in the
Yeah.
draft. Man, that's not a bad haul there.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, like the losers, really, to me, I think the losers at this point, it got to be the teams that just didn't have picks. Like, the teams like Oakland and I mean not Oakland, I'm tripping. Las Vegas, teams that
Yeah.
just didn't have any draft capital right now are like the biggest losers so far because we still got one more deadish. But I don't think anybody's draft is hitting what the Jets are. Like they nailed it. They nailed it to me.
Yeah, for me,
And
I mean,
before you go, they just got one of the best tight ends in Ruckert from Ohio State, so they just added to it. So
the
yeah,
Jets did.
but so yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, for me, AD, I think with adding the players that this team did, and because of the trade, I think it's the Eagles. Because you get stellar defensive guys like Nakobe Dean, you get Jordan Davis, and then you go and you make arguably maybe one of the best trades with going and getting AJ Brown. I mean, good grief, AJ Brown is like Reagan said, he's been a fantastic receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you get to help a guy like Hurts out. I mean, that offense is it, and you've got Devontae Smith there as well. Like, good grief. I mean, that offense is scary, when you think about all the guys that they have now. And now that you add the defensive pieces there, I think as a whole, because of the trade, I think for me it's the Eagles. So yeah.
For me, I got to agree with you, AD. The Jets are the winner right now. I mean, Garrett Wilson is incredible. I mean, I think Derek Stingley's better, but Sauce Gardner, I mean, take no credit. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him. He is still an incredible DB. His stats are incredible. I'm pretty sure he never allowed a touchdown his entire college career. If I'm saying that correctly, I saw a stat the other day, and I may be misquoting that, but I'm pretty sure he never allowed a touchdown his entire college career, and never allowed a like this season didn't allow a reception over 13 yards or longer. Like, I mean, impressive, very impressive. Then you think of Jermaine Johnson, who everybody thought was going to go a lot sooner than them, and they picked him up later in the first round. Your first round was Garrett Wilson. Well, excuse me, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, and then you added Breece Hall. And then you just have like
ridiculous.
No doubt, they are the winner right now.
Yeah.
Now they are the Jets organization. What are they going to do with them? So we'll see how it plays out.
I mean, everybody got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere, no doubt. But they've had picks galore, and they've made good picks with them. The losers for me, and this is sheerly off of one pick, and they may not even be the loser of the draft, but the Drake London pick for me with Atlanta is just such a reach. And not to throw shade at this guy either, but the strange pick for the Patriots out of Chattanooga, those were some really reaching first round picks to me. Like, if you want me to be completely honest, I never even heard of Drake London's name till like last week. I didn't even know the dude. I did not even know the dude. I knew every other receiver probably in this draft, that were relevant. Like I even knew John Dotson from Penn State. Or is it Dotson? Dotson, right?
Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, Jahan Dotson. So like, I know all those guys, and like I didn't even know who Drake London was. And for him to go 8, get out of here, Atlanta. I just I feel like that was
the Dirty Birds will continue to be the Dirty Birds.
I mean, as a Saints fan, I can't say I'm mad at it.
You had your pick at any receiver. No pick had been made at receiver yet. You had every single one at hand, and you picked Drake London. Get out of here. Get out of here.
They must have really liked their conversation with him or something. I don't know. I mean,
he must be a man of character or something.
Anyway,
holy.
But these scouts, they've been doing it for a long time. Obviously, although we don't see some of these guys and they're at lower level schools like Chattanooga, like Purdue, some of those guys that went first round. They've been doing it for a long time. So we'll see how that talent plays out.
I will say, I've kind of adopted the Bengals as my team. Honestly,
100%.
With Breeze gone, my heart kind of, I don't know. I've never fully been just head over heels for the Saints, and I don't know why, and that may offend some Louisiana people. I've obviously pulled for them, especially when Drew Brees was there, because I love Drew Brees and all he stood for as a man. I thought he was an incredible person. And we actually, what's kind of crazy, Zach, I don't think we've ever told anybody this. We lived in Luke McCown's house in Jacksonville, Texas. We lived in Luke McCown's house in Jacksonville, Texas. We moved to Jacksonville, Texas for my dad to be a youth pastor, and Luke McCown attended the church my dad accepted a youth pastor position at in Jacksonville, Texas. And at the time, he was the current Jacksonville, Florida starting quarterback, and we had no place to live yet. So we got to live in his house in Jacksonville while he was living in Jacksonville, Florida. So we got to hear a lot about Drew Brees from Luke McCown and his time at the Saints and his parents and whatnot. So we know what kind of guy Drew Brees is, so we kind of love him. So I can't believe we've never told anybody that. We literally lived in Luke McCown's house. Yeah. So for everybody listening, that was kind of our claim to fame, I guess.
If you ever do, like, I remember like when I was a little bit younger, like if we ever did like 2 truths and a lie, that game. Y'all know that game? Like I would throw that in there. I would throw that in there, and people like, "There's no way you live in an NFL quarterback's house." I'm like, "Ha, psych, gotcha."
Yeah. So we attended Jacksonville High School, which Josh McCown and Luke McCown, or not high school. Well, you attended at high school. I was in middle school.
Yeah.
Josh and Luke McCown both went to Jacksonville High School. They were like idols there because they both went to A&M and had great careers. And anyway, and ended up in the NFL. Anyways, I can't believe we'd never mentioned that on this show. I just thought about that. But anyways, my team now, we traced the rabbit. My team now is Bengals. I've just followed Justin Broussard mentioned the picks. I really think the Braxton Hill pick or Daxton Hill pick was a good pick. Somebody compliment Jesse Bates at the safety position, and then the Taylor Britt pick. I don't know. Maybe they're replacing Eli Apple. That's what I hope. Good grief. I know all you Saints fans want that man off. I want him off the field just as much as you do. He's horrible. He is horrible. Man, and how dare he trash New Orleans?
Make a DB back to back.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know that we re-signed Eli Apple, but hey, man, this Cornhusker, Mr. Taylor Britt, come to take your place, brother. Time for you to get out of that burnt toast.
Nurse Court said, "I think y'all need to have a little bro on the show. He's a star in the making. Just saying, tell him hi for me." Simon did get to meet some of our viewers, so that was pretty cool. You ready to move on to basketball, Reagan? I see Peyton in here. Peyton, it's the last thing. We got to finish it. It was a great night, obviously.
Yes, we're gonna finish it off.
We're gonna finish it with baseball because it was the most exciting thing of tonight. So, but let's go ahead and let's move forward and talk about some basketball. And Reagan, this McMahon, because not a lot of people, AD, are talking basketball right now. And, obviously you've got the draft going on. You've got, obviously, baseball team is going right now. So there's a lot of things elsewhere that's happening right now, sports-wise. But, the basketball team is shaping up right now.
Yeah, look, right now, you've gotten some transfers with Cam Hayes. You've gotten Cornelius Williams. You've gotten who's the dude from Northwestern State? We're drawing a blank. Kendall Coleman. Cam Hayes, Justice Hill. You got Mawani back. You got Justice Williams back. Adam Miller, big time, released today. His top 2 schools, ECU and LSU. Boy, oh boy, if you get Adam Miller back.
Holy cow.
Boy, oh boy, if you get Adam Miller back.
And you just pulled in Jalen Reed?
The dude is making it over, and we haven't even heard the sanctions yet. We haven't even heard the sanctions yet.
We haven't.
And it really feels like some positive things rolling for him. And y'all, Efton Reed has not made a decision. Xavier Pinson, even though he released his top 2 guys, I would not rule his top 2 teams. I would not rule him out yet. He released Xavier and Mississippi State as his top 2 guys. I wouldn't rule him out yet. There's one more I'm thinking of that hasn't released there. As Waro has Sharif O'Neal hasn't. So maybe it's more than that.
Sharif's not coming back.
I don't think Sharif O'Neal.
No, Sharif's not coming back.
But man, there's another one I'm thinking of. Maybe it's just Adam Miller and Efton that I'm thinking of.
Adam Miller, Efton, Sharif, and
Pinson.
Xavier.
Yeah. And Azwaro. Bradley Azwaro hadn't announced anywhere.
Well,
we saw Colbert. You never know what he could become. I mean, he was a freshman, but we saw Jarrell Colbert. He's going to Kansas State. But guys, I mean, it's really coming together.
Al Landry, 9 scholarship players on the team now.
Yes, I mean, you went from 0 to 9. 0 to 9. I mean,
pretty
is
quickly.
A makeover.
Pretty quickly.
AD, what's your thoughts been so far of what McMahon has been trying to do? I mean, we've been kind of been quiet on that front, even though some things feel like there's some things happening. What do you feel about it so far?
Man, I'm like, I don't think even when Wade was here, I was like this so much with my antennas up for anything coming out about basketball. But man, when that Jalen Reed thing hit, I was like, because like a lot of people don't know how the situation went. He was committed to Florida, and they had a coaching change, but he didn't follow the coach to Georgia. They said that he took a secret visit down here the weekend of the spring game, and he's from Mississippi, from Jackson, which is like 2.5 hours away from Baton Rouge.
Right.
So he popped, and I mean, I looked at his game, and he is nice. And another one y'all didn't mention was Fountain that we got from Mississippi State.
Yes,
Fountain,
that's
his game. His game is so. I love his game. But,
and a position of need. He filled a position of need.
Yes.
And then getting the news about Adam Miller today, like, I mean, I don't think we're gonna have to worry about recruiting, man. Because, I mean, to get Jalen Reed, a top 50 guy.
Yep.
Then you have Adam Miller reconsidering. And I really think with McMahon and what he does, LSU is the best spot for him. It's not even a debate. And then still with the possibility of Efton coming back. And then there's this other kid, this other recruit that is between us and Georgia for him, a 2022 guy. He's a power forward from Texas. And his game, he elected. His game nice. I mean, this recruiting is not is shocking to me. And like I always say, I say all the time.
Yeah.
I say all the time, the reason why I'm not worried about the team was because McMahon was not a probation hire.
Yeah.
Me personally, I was like, back the Brinks truck up to Calvin Sampson's house and keep doing it until he tell you no.
Yeah.
But my second choice was Matt McMahon. And when they landed McMahon, I felt a whole lot better about where we were going to be and where we were going to be at. Because he's not a holdover coach. He's not a get you through your suspension type coach. He's a guy that's a hire they would have made if they fired Will Wade just off of, for any other reason, or Will Wade went and took another job. You'll go hire a Matt McMahon type guy. So I'm just excited, and like the way he's building this thing. And there's another kid I forgot to mention. They saying that he's probably going to be Georgetown because he's a Maryland kid and he's from out that way. Tyrell Ward. We in it for him too. It's between us, Vontek, and Georgetown. Yeah,
he's a 5-star.
A 5-star win. Yeah. So I mean, and if he pull that off, he pull Adam Miller coming back, and we get the guy from Texas, and Efton comes back. I don't think the expectations that we were expecting to have before Wade got fired for this next season are going to be unreasonable.
Well, hey, listen, this is a huge stretch. Huge stretch. And am I crazy to think with all this going on that they know something that we don't with these sanctions coming? Are they
maybe
potentially going to be not as bad as we think they are?
I would say it's not a stretch to say that Scott Woodward has gotten ahead of this thing. That's what I would say. I would say it's not a stretch to say that he has worked some Scott Woodward. You know, we always talk about how Scott seems like he's a few steps ahead of everybody else. And I feel like he has worked some magic and has been very, very, very kind to the NCAA and has done everything the NCAA has done. And I'm not trying to get my hopes up because I still expect I am expecting postseason Dan. That is what I'm expecting. But my expectations were 2 to 3 years, Dan.
Maybe 1.
I'm feeling like a 1-2 is a little bit more reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean,
potentially fines and scholarships restrictions.
Zach and both of y'all made like absolutely brilliant points to me. Zach, what you saying, is there something that they know that the rest of us don't? And Reagan, you saying, answering back with saying Woodward has probably done something and crossed every T and dotted every I that the NCAA has asked him to, because some of these moves, what reason would they have to come here? These are not guys begging for an opportunity.
Exactly.
Correct.
Jalen Reed is a top 50 guy. And if you watch his game, any of his highlights, the dude has skill. He can put the ball on the floor.
Why would Tyrell Ward consider you? Yeah.
Yes.
Why would Ace have you in your top 2 and think about coming back with his talent? And he's probably done after next year.
Yeah.
Like it's too many things pointing toward what y'all said to make you believe that it's not out there like that. Like I believe Woodward and McMahon have enough information to go to these kids and say, look, we know what you're hearing, but here's what's really coming. And it's not going to be a problem for you if you come here and play for us. And I think that's what is going on. So I'm excited. I really got to say that. Like, I'm as excited about basketball as I am about the football team. And that's real talk. Like, I am super excited. So even if the hammer come down, whatever, I'm okay, whatever. This team with this coach and his ability as a coach, and also if they giving away scholarships for this 23 and 24 class, they just handing them things out like school lunches. Like they just giving them away. they just giving them away. So yeah, man, I'm excited about the basketball team. I'm excited about the news, the way just having LSU still in these conversations for top guys after losing a coach who was known as an ace recruiter, and what we do have coming toward us punishment wise, to still be in the conversations with these kids. I'm not as worried. I'm really not. I think it may not be clear right now, but I think the future is very bright.
See, that's the thing is like you said, even if the hammer comes down, and I think like that's what Scott Woodward is thinking here, like, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think he's behind the scenes working some things to make this as like the sanctions aren't going to be as hard as we possibly originally thought. 6, 7 if sanctions are laid down.
He's prepared for the future.
He's prepared for this. Like, we are ready to take this on if need be. But I still feel like there's like Scott Woodward is such a brilliant mind with handling and navigating these situations. This is the reason you hire Scott Woodward. Number one, he makes incredible coaching hires. Number two, he navigates these situations in a brilliant way. I mean, in a professional way, and he handles himself professionally. I mean, when you think about the disaster that was at Orgeron the last 2 years, like you go from like beating Florida and TDP breaks the single game rushing record, yet the next day he still has made this plan and he's made this decision. It doesn't matter what happened on Saturday. We know it's a disaster. We know it's been going on. We got to take care of business. We got to take care of LSU football. we're going to go ahead and make this announcement now so we can start our official process of hiring.
That's the difference between Joe Oliva
Yes.
and Scott Warwood, because Joe Oliva rode off of the high whenever Les Miles won the A&M game when they're carrying him off the field.
And they kept him.
I mean, and then you have the Ed Orgeron situation, which he was going. I mean, Les Miles was going to be fired.
Yeah.
Les Miles was going to be fired. They win the game. They carry him off the field. They hold up on that. And then you kind of have a similar situation. You know Ed Orgeron's going to be fired. It's already done. And they go out, they play a big game, but instead of going, oh, maybe this is still our guy, maybe we should hold on to him, you still drop, like, off that high, you go, he's done.
The very next day.
The very next day,
you hold a press conference.
So, yeah, I'm impressed, and I think I have a really, really more comfortable feel about this, what's coming next with this basketball team in this next season, which, by the way, this will be a great transition because we're about to go ahead and take a break. My Grizzlies have come back. They were down a little bit, and now they have a 4-point lead with 24 seconds left. It looks like my Grizzlies are going to advance.
I think they got the ball, too.
The Pelicans parade.
Shout out to the Pelicans, though.
But shout out to the Pelicans.
Hey,
I
appreciate
become
that.
my second favorite
cooking.
team.
Something's
Yeah,
cooking,
and
man.
they've got something going on really, really good right now.
I ain't going to lie. He hit kind of deep when I saw Willie crying going off.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It kind of hit me. Willie was crying going off the court. I was like, hey, when I saw that, I was like, it's cooking in NOLA.
So
yes,
we're going to take a quick break, and then we will be back. Hopefully, maybe by the time we come back, the Grizz have solidified this and are going to be able to advance to the second round. But after we get back, we're going to hit on some baseball. So, Peyton, I know you're in here.
Hang on.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we will be back right after this to talk some LSU baseball.
5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. 5-Star Hero. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law.
Yes. All right. We got our last segment here for you. We talked some draft picks, some basketball, McMahon makeover. Now we got to discuss tonight's baseball game. Big time series. Georgia's coming in Baton Rouge. They're ranked higher than you. They got a big time ace pitching tomorrow, but you take care of business tonight.
Huge.
And you get game one.
Huge.
Big win. Zach, what were your thoughts on game one tonight?
I mean, okay, so I hate to start off with a negative, but you're going to have to rely off more of base hits and singles and doubles than the home run ball, than the long ball like you did tonight. Because tonight you really relied on the long ball. You had two home run dingers, and then you also had the solo shot by Cruz later on in the ball game. But I will continue to say this: the bullpen and the starting pitching has continued to elevate their game and has continued to surprise myself and I think really all of LSU baseball fans, because Mikhail came out. I know he had some shaky spots, but when he got in those shaky spots, he took care of business. He got strikeouts. He both of his pitches were working for him. Especially as he progressed later on in the ball game, it seemed like he got better. I mean, that's why they left him in there for so long. I mean,
six good innings.
I mean, he went in there for 6 innings and he looked really solid. And I don't want to say he's an ace because he doesn't have the ace type stuff pitches wise. But he is playing like an ace. I mean, he's going 5, 6, 7 innings and he's shutting teams out. And keeping them off the scoreboard for the most part. He's been able to work around batters. He has looked really good. So, I mean, I love, for me tonight, it is definitely that you have the starting pitching and the relief
It's
pitching
improving.
exceeded expectations. But as Reagan said, it is improving and
It's getting
continuing
better,
to get
yeah.
better, right? Now, Tuesday was rough. You know, we were live for that game, and you know, I wanted to see Ty Floyd improve and have another good outing.
Yeah.
He didn't have a good outing. He had a pretty rough outing, and so you know. But I think overall, this pitching staff has looked even better and has progressed a lot throughout the season. And I'm glad they were to hit the ball tonight. I'm glad they had the homers, but they've got to be more consistent at hitting. You know,
stringing hits together.
Which also, Reagan, I mean, dude, who you gonna put at catcher when Milazzo's back healthy? I mean, you've got Travinsky, who's been hitting well. You've got McManus, who hit well tonight. He had one of the dingers. And then Milazzo's your best defensive catcher. And, you know, if he's able to hit 200, 250, I mean, shoot. I mean, that's going to be tough. But, I mean, all three catchers have looked really good. So, McManus,
which is a good thing.
Which is great. You have depth there. McManus looked fantastic tonight. Stevenson caught some balls out in the outfield tonight that were some tough plays for some other guys, but yeah, reminiscent of his brother. But he made them look routine. So overall, really impressive. I got to be honest, I was extremely nervous coming into the series. I honestly did not think that this series would go well, and now I'm a lot more optimistic because they got the game one win, which is the most important one.
Yeah, game one wins.
You got game one. And now, you know, you can battle it out. Blake Money and their ace can battle out tomorrow. You know, if you're able to win that, holy cow, big time. You know, or you're going to end up going to a rubber match and having to fight it out on Sunday. And I like LSU's chances on Sunday because LSU's guys, again, I'll continue to repeat this, the pitching for LSU is going to beat a lot of other teams with their Sunday guys. So, overall, huge win tonight. Not only for tonight, but it sets you up really well for the next 2 days.
Yeah. AD, what stood out to you tonight? Big game one win. I mean, the one you want to get. What did you like tonight?
It's Mikhail. I mean, when, you know,
he's a dog.
When with pitching, when you're not like the dude, when you're not the ace, you have more nights like tonight where you don't have everything, where you don't have your best stuff. You miss some spots and some things like that, but you battle through and you still only give up 2 runs. That is more encouraging to me than anything because you're going to have more games like this than you will have those games where you're striking out 10 guys and, you know, you give up 1 run over 7 innings or, you know, 1 run over 6 in 2/3. It's these kind of games mean something. And for Hilliard to go out there time after time, get in trouble, but get himself out and shut down a good SEC. This not just, you know, it's not a midweek game. This is a quality SEC opponent. And he did his thing. And sidebar, the Grizz took it. 114,
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
That series over. So, you know, y'all see Golden State next.
Golden State, we come.
Come on, Golden State.
But you know, to have Hilliard have this kind of performance, like, because I think what has been so baffling for us this season, I think if our pitchers were giving up 5 to 6 runs a game, we wouldn't like it, but it would be easier to swallow than the way we've been losing games.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing that was supposed to not be good. The pitching was supposed to be the problem with this team, not the fielding. Yeah. So I think it would, but the way they have performed, if the fielding would get right, I mean, you're talking about top 10, top 5 team in the nation right now. Like a super regional is not even a question if we felt confident in our fielding, but because the hitting is there. That's one thing that has been consistent. The hitting has been consistent. They've given, for us to get 5-6 runs, that's a walk in the park for this baseball team. I mean, even the game we lost, it was 9-4. I mean, we still put up 4 runs. In a lot of games you can win with 4 runs. So, but I think Hill just, man, to come out and have the battle the
Yeah.
way he did inning after inning without his best stuff and still only give up 2 runs. Hats off to him. To get to give us solid 6 innings and then let them boys in the pen work, which has probably been the best part of the pitching staff.
Big dogs at the pen,
Brilliant.
baby.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant game tonight from him.
The stuff with Mikhail, kind of to spin off here what y'all are saying, like when y'all are talking about ace, y'all are talking about like a hard throwing dude that just punches guys out.
Yeah.
Like he's throwing mid 90s, like maybe sometimes touching a little bit higher, to just slinging a guy. The thing with like Mikhail that makes him so good is the mix of his pitches. It's like it doesn't matter that it's not as fast. It's just like you keep hitters off balance. Like you don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
Like his curveball is, just a knee buckler, number one. And like his fastball, it's not even like this straight line ball. It's got some cut to it. And it's hard to keep up with. I mean, when you're throwing in a fastball that's coming in with some movement on it, and then you see this like hanging curveball, it's hard to keep up with. And the mix of his pitches keep guys off balance all the time. And dude, to come into the first inning of the game and have the bases loaded, 1 out, and to punch out the next 2 guys, that was clutch.
Badly.
That was huge to start the game off like that. A huge momentum.
How many times did he start off 0-2 and then end up walked guys, but luckily was able to fight back. I mean, fantastic job.
You lock in. I want to say he only made 1 mistake, but he made mistakes tonight, but he made up for himself. So he only made 1 mistake that cost him. You know what I mean? Like he made mistakes by getting some runners on the base pads and putting himself in a bind, but he made up for it. He only made 1 mistake with the
hanging breaking ball that
they put out, and that was all they had. That's all they got. 1 pitch that he hung, and that's all they got. And if you hit your location on that, they don't score any runs tonight.
No.
That's just, it has been really a surprise to see our staff do as well as it has, and I've been really impressed. And honestly, Zach, I gotta agree with you. I feel like our batting averages are high. They are, but they're definitely not as stringed together as you want them to be.
Yeah.
You get a guy on, you hit 1 out. Obviously, you're gonna love it. I'm not gonna be upset about a home run, but obviously, but you like to see those innings where it's just like when you give up a home run and like you walk a guy, give up a home run, then you get the next 3 outs. It doesn't feel as exhausting. But when you are sitting up there and you are battling, and it's like you get like 4 hits in an inning, and you walk a batter, like that's a dragging inning, or you get like 2 singles and a double, and you hit a batter, like that really takes a toll.
It frustrates the coaches. It frustrates the field. It frustrates the pitcher. It frustrates the fans.
Yes,
and another thing.
Yes,
it feels like
another thing. 2 out hits. 2 out hits with men on.
Yes.
When you start those 2 out rallies, those things are demoralizing to the other team. It's like for folks who may not be as baseball savvy as us, when you have a strong running game and you just run an ISO down their throat, and they know it's coming, they know what you're doing, but they can't do anything about it. That's what it's like when you start those 2 out rallies where you get a guy, he get on with a double, the next guy knock him in with a single, then the guy behind him hit another double, and the guy that hit the single come in and score. When those kind of rallies are absolutely crushing to a team. So that's the way you want to play offensive baseball. The home runs are good. Home runs, like they say, like that old saying, chicks dig the long ball. But when you get those rallies like that, those 2 out rallies, or just consistent string, moving guys station to station, that stuff just wears, because you could easily be out there 45 minutes on defense, and that just wears you down.
And you're eating into the bullpen.
You're eating into the bullpen, and I'm standing out there in center field, bored out of my mind, because every time somebody get up, they hitting a line drive single down the left field line. It's just,
Correct.
and I'm out here. I've been out here for 30 minutes. It's like it's
Yep.
demoralizing. It really is.
Yeah. So I mean, you got it right, AD. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I want to see a little bit more of. Is that gruelingness that just wears on a team that we can that will help us win more series by doing that rather than just hitting home run. Because you can shake off. Okay, I made one bad pitch. They got me on it. Now I got to go right back and get at it. But man, when you're getting beat like that, like AD was talking about, it's exhausting.
Now, what I will say now tonight was great. And I mentioned the home runs needing, that's a little bit of a negative, only hitting a long ball and not stringing together hits. But tomorrow's game, you can do that.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's game,
Yeah,
you can
their
do that
ace.
because they're gonna have an ace on the mound, and it's gonna
Hit the
be
ball out.
extremely tough.
Hit the ball out.
It's gonna be extremely tough to string together hits. So I would love to see what they did tonight, tomorrow. I would have preferred to see stringing together some hits tonight, but it was fine. It worked because McHale was the star of the night,
Yes, he
pitching
was.
wise, and the bullpen was the star of the night. So it worked. But what you did tonight, hitting wise, do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you score two, if you score 4 runs off a couple of dingers, you set yourself well, and that's going to depend on how Money pitches because Money has had some rough outings, but luckily the bullpen has come in and saved him the last couple of times.
Yeah.
So, it's going to depend on the pitching. You had great pitching tonight. You had great bullpen action tonight. Are you able to get great starting pitching tomorrow night? And are you able to get great bullpen pitching tomorrow night?
Yeah, I really.
That is going to depend on whether this team, the pitching helped you. The pitching helped you win tonight. It's going to have to help you win tomorrow.
Yeah, I really want to see Blake Money have a good game tomorrow. I feel like he's kind
Yeah,
of
he need to bounce back. He
here
need to
lately.
bounce back.
I want to see him have a strong game. Maybe one of those kind of games like he had at the beginning of the season. I know it's a different opponent when you're in the SEC, but I really want to see Blake Money have a strong game so he can gain some confidence. I mean, he needs that. One other thing I want to say that may not be game related about this, I feel like so we've been a little bit disappointed, with the way the baseball season has gone. Right, the fielding has been frustrated. You thought you would win more than what you had, like the A&M series, the Auburn series. We can live with an Arkansas loss. The sweep hurt a little bit. The Florida series was a good win, but it wasn't, it hasn't been dominating like we wanted it to be. But one thing I want to point out with this baseball team, number one, Jay Johnson. I still trust Jay Johnson because the chemistry he seems to be building with this team. I mean, I don't know if y'all follow him on Twitter or whatnot, but every single win they get, they take a photo, he posts a score. There's camaraderie, there is chemistry, there is a bond. And I'm not saying Paul Maneri didn't do that, but this is a new way that Jay Johnson is doing that. And he's really, I think, pulling a team together. That's number one. Number two, it's not as bad as I think we've made it out to be. Like, after tonight, you are now 1 game behind the SEC lead. You're 1 game behind, not the SEC lead, the SEC West lead. You're 1 game behind Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, if you win the Auburn series, if you win the A&M series, if you win both of those series, you're like ahead of Arkansas right now.
By a couple of games.
Right. So this, I don't want to just say, well, this season isn't what we expected, blah, blah, blah. Like, we could still host. And I feel like we've kind of been set back a little bit by the not meeting the expectation we had, because we had some really high expectations for year one. I'm going to admit it. We really set the bar high for year one, and it may have not been fair to Jay Johnson. Really, what he has done this year has been really good, considering it being his first year, because this can very well be still a very special season in the postseason, considering what we've sat here and talked about, how the pitching is improving, how our bats, our bats are incredible. We know the offense is there. Your bullpen has become a strength that you never thought you had. Like, bullpens we've talked about can take you a long way in the postseason. So even though this hasn't been this just spectacular, I feel like we were expecting to have a Tennessee-like season. Like, I feel like that was the expectation. What Tennessee is having, I feel like is what we were expecting, which is a little unrealistic. But our season is solid and it ain't over with yet. Like, you can still win the SEC West.
Yeah.
You still have a shot at it. And if you win the SEC West in baseball, and it's his first year, that's incredible.
Yes.
That's incredible. So
much of what you're saying, Reagan, is like so spot on. Is like, this is his first year. And I don't care what coach, I don't care how good a coach is. When you come in, there's going to be changes and shifts and things like that. He doesn't have his guys in here yet.
Even with the guys that he has, AD, like, even though they're extremely talented, you still have to have that transition.
Yeah,
there's still that transition. And and big thing that happened this week that we didn't talk about that was off the field technically. Michael Romero signed his letter of intent. So you got that coming in, but we have high expectations because this is LSU baseball. People consider LSU baseball has been the blue blood program in baseball. There's only one other school in the nation with more championships in baseball than nothing. I think that's USC.
Yeah,
it is a blue blood high. It's a blue blood high expectation program. That's what it is.
No doubt.
So it's not. We set ourselves up to be disappointed because we are LSU baseball. That's what it is. But the job he has done has not been bad. It has not been bad at all. I really commend him, especially in the SEC where a lot of teams have caught up.
Yeah.
It used to just be us in Florida.
Yeah.
Guaranteed every year. But teams have caught up. Vanderbilt, we know what that is. Ole Miss, Tennessee, Arkansas. Like those teams have caught. They have caught up to us as far as the consistency in level of play in baseball now. So to come in and having to rebuild what was here for how long was Monero here? Like 10, 11 years?
Since 07.
07? So longer than that. Like 15 years? 14, 15 years? To come in and have to rebuild that takes a lot. So I commend him. He's doing the job. And when he gets his program all the way set the way he sees it going, look out. Look out.
And you're that's one thing we got to consider too. Like Jay Johnson has done what he's done with the cards he's been dealt, right?
Yes.
And then we saw the recruiting class this man put together that's coming in next season. Like if that continues to happen, holy cow. That is incredible. So kudos to Jay Johnson. Like I'm not saying we ever doubted Jay Johnson throughout this season, but there may have been some little doubt creeping in. When we were losing some games we thought we shouldn't have. The fielding got bad. Our tendency as fans is to immediately, dive off the deep end and overreact. And we may have done that. We may have done that with the whole Will Wade thing. Like those sanctions, we may have been thinking, oh, the hammer is coming down. Basketball is going to be irrelevant for 5 years, blah, blah, blah. Our tendency is to immediately overreact in that way. And maybe, just maybe, we overreacted a little bit with the fielding and whatnot. And then you step back and realize, holy crap, we're one game off the SEC West lead.
Yep. This
is a good job for a first-year head coach at LSU, and the expectation is very high. So I think the fact that we're starting right here where you're competing for the SEC West year one, and he only has 3 of the guys he had from his former team, and he's just doing with the cards he's dealt, which they're pretty good hands.
Yeah.
You got some pretty good cards. But
you got
right. But
you might have a full house in there.
It's never. As good as Dylan Cruz is, Trey Morgan, Kay Doty, Jordan Thompson, all these guys, it's not the same as when you recruit a guy. He comes in, you train him the way you train him, you teach him the way you teach him. This is a transition from one teaching style to another, and it's still, we put this product on the field, and it's still good enough to compete in the SEC West. kudos to Jay Johnson. I'm excited for the future of LSU baseball. That's what I got to say about that. So, do y'all have anything else to add to that? If not, we'll hit a quick break.
We'll look at some of these some of these comments, and then we will wrap.
Good deal.
Cody saying boo.
To the Grizz. Yeah.
Sorry, Cody. Look, I told you, man. Pels are like my number 2 now. So,
Respect to the Pels.
giving me some respect. I'm giving you some respect. Giving you some respect.
Hey, John Moran is my guy.
Cody
John
has been
Moran,
banned.
I'm a fan.
Cody has been banned, and there's no. That's hilarious. Cody said, "Not very go Tigers of y'all." Anyway, Carl Dunn, here comes the Tiger train. Choo choo.
Yes, sir.
Excited. Peyton helped us out 15 years that Monero was here.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm not sure what that was to, Peyton. So if you can clarify what that is to, and then maybe we can catch it after the break. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and catch a break, and then we will wrap up.
Make sure you go follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Tigers Avenue, for daily updates on the show and all things LSU sports. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to click off and hit that subscribe button at Tigers Avenue. We broadcast all of our shows live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's been a fantastic time here in the Tigers Avenue. AD, we appreciate you joining us, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Give him your handle. Give him your handle so we can y'all go follow AD.
A Perkins 2113. That's my Twitter handle. First and foremost, happy birthday to my guy Zach. He making 25 tomorrow.
Birthday.
Happy birthday to my dude.
About an hour.
Yeah, so about an hour you're gonna be 25. It's all downhill from there. Secondly, to all the guys in the chat, Peyton, Nurse Court, Big Al, Carl, Justin, all of y'all. If I missed you, it's not because I wanted to, it's because I can't remember all of them. But thank y'all for tuning in. Follow these guys. Y'all know how good they are at this point in time. There's no need to keep repeating it. They're one of the best. They're one of the best. The Avenue crew is one of the best in the Tiger. The Tiger Twitter podcast webcast landscape are one of the best. So follow these dudes. They care about LSU. They love LSU like we all do. So just had a good time. It was fun. This is what we do every day anyway. So now we're just putting it out for everybody else to see.
That's right.
That's right. Well, AD, look, we loved having you as well, man. We love you, and for sure we will be bringing you back on before football season starts.
Absolutely.
I've got a plan, right? I haven't told Reagan about this, but I've got a plan of this lineup that's going to be coming before we hit the fall and football starts. So
there we
I'm
go.
excited
And
about
then that's a 2-hour show off top.
I know.
Yes, sir.
Honestly, AD, it might have to be. It honestly might have to be.
That's going to be so much fun.
We'll hit this last comment, and then Reagan will get us out of here. Brandon Rich, man, I hope the Saints can still go get Honey Badger. Whew, man.
That'd be awesome.
I would love it if they got Honey Badger.
Come on home.
It just makes my love for the Saints and this Bengals pull that's happening right now even harder. So
And also don't forget Juice.
That's right. Jarvis Landry.
Don't forget Juice
out there.
Holy cow. Michael Thomas, Olave, and Juice.
Woo! Michael Thomas, Olave, and Juice. Well, that's another day, another show. So Reagan, go ahead.
Bro.
Yeah, man. AD, we appreciate you joining. Everybody,
anytime. I love it, man.
We love
had a great time.
We love the interaction. We appreciate y'all coming in here, joining us in the Avenue. We'll catch you next time in the Tigers Avenue. 5-star hero, take us out. Peace.
Who that 5-star? Who that 5-star? And the LSU Tigers. Who that 5-star?